The Joe Rogan Experience.
So I'm going to describe to you an extraordinary fact about water and why we're alive today. Okay? So watch. Let's take a lake that has fish in it. Okay? Temperature drops outside. And the lake slowly begins to get cooler because there's a time lag between the air temperature and the waters. That's why the first freeze, the lake is still there. It's got to be cold longer. All right, so what happens? The water gets cold on the surface. Okay? And it begins to... Okay, the water gets cold on the surface and it begins to shrink. So that water it shrinks. That makes it denser. It falls to the bottom. Fine. It does that down to about 4 degrees Celsius. As it goes from 4 degrees Celsius to 0 degrees Celsius, the freezing point, it begins to expand and become less dense than the water. So now, as the water wants to actually freeze, it stays on top. When it does freeze, you freeze the top surface of the lake. Well, how about the water below it? It's insulated from the dropping air temperature, and the fish don't die. Imagine if ice were denser than water. What would happen? You'd freeze the top layer, it would sink. The bottom is frozen. Freeze the next layer, it sinks. And fish would be systematically forced to swim in shallower and shallower waters until they were all freeze-dried on the top surface of the lake. And all fishes would be dead every winter in every lake.
I think it's fish.
What?
I think you're supposed to say fishes.
Fishes is a double plural.
You could do that?
Yeah. You never
all
heard
fish
fishes?
Would be dead?
You never
like
heard?
All deer? Would you say all deers?
Well, because generally it's one. If you had multiple kinds of deer, yeah.
Oh, so if you had like Sitka deer,
yeah, but it's rare that they're all in the same place. You generally have one kind of deer in one place. But if the ocean has many kind of fish in the same place.
Oh,
yeah,
that's interesting. So you would say fishes.
Fishes it's a double plural.
Kinds.
It's different kinds of plural fish.
Oh,
yeah,
double blow my mind.
Oh, you didn't know that.
Blew it again.
Oh no,
I didn't know. I never thought about it that way.
The many fishes in the yeah. So sorry.
Fishes in the sea.
Yeah. So. Multiple plurals of different kinds of fish.
How cold is it up to get where ocean water freezes? Because that's where it gets
it's salt.
Really
it's salt water. Do you have the word fishes up there?
Some weird anomaly that happened where there was too little oxygen in the water, and somehow the frozen fish got pushed out in a wall of ice. It was in South Dakota a couple years ago.
Oh, so there's too little oxygen.
I don't know. I can't explain that. I don't know what happened there.
If you look at if you look at the green in the water, most likely it's algae. So that happens with certain lakes that get polluted with certain types of algae.
Right, you can kill the lake by doing that.
You can kill the lake, and you get it in the ocean too. You get these zones.
But I don't see how you get frozen fish though.
That's incredible. But scroll. Stop. Go back up.
Yeah.
Scroll down so you could read it. Fish frozen in a wall of ice in South Dakota's Lake Andes National Wildlife Refuge. That's incredible, man. Is that a video, Jamie?
I think it's just the pictures, though.
I don't know how they froze because they can just swim to where it's not frozen. So I'd have to do more homework on that one to see what caused that.
Wow.
So my point is, because of this property of water,
how weird
that ice floats, it insulates the bottom layers of the lake, and fish can survive over the winter.
That's
because
how igloos work too, right? Insulates so you can inside you get like a nice little warm spot.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, if you put a barrier between you and the changing elements outside, that's basically an insulating layer.
Have you ever gone ice fishing?
No, I never.
It's a good way to get away from your wife.
Person.
Well, they have them in New York City. People go ice fishing, I'm sure, in Central Park.
Do women go ice fishing to get away from their husbands?
They do.
Yeah, okay.
It's a joke. Okay. It's like, why do people golf? But ice fishing is particularly weird because you have to continually scoop out the ice and maybe even drill again.
Right. So that works because frozen water is less dense than non-frozen water, and it's one of the rare ingredients for which that's so. And it's likely there would be no life on land or anywhere on Earth if that were the case, if the opposite of that were the case. So water is a very special ingredient to life on Earth.